coast, it's a vibe so nice. Kyle and Carmela bring the spice to life. In this urban jungle we carve in our own way. Conversations flowing like the waves in the bay. Let's dive deep, no holding back. This is Coastal Convo on the right track. Coastal conversations where the dreams collide. Unlocking the mysteries we take in our stride. From the city to the sea we share the truth. Join the flow with us and feel the youth. To the city's beat, we discuss the hustle, the struggle, and the heat. From local stories to global dreams, with every word spoken, we stitch our seams. Tune in tight, don't miss a word. With Kyle and Carmela, let your voice be heard. Coastal conversations where the dreams collide. Unlocking the mysteries we take in our stride. From the city to the sea, we share the truth. Join the flow with us and feel the youth. Tune in tight, don't miss a word. With Kyle and Carmela, let your voice be heard. This is Coastal Convo, keep the vibe alive. Kyle and Carmela.
Stay tuned for more Coastal Conversations.
You know y'all done fucked up, right?
Why?
They royally fucked up because they liked our podcast.
Yeah, they really liked it.
They liked that shit.
Liked it.
So because you liked it, we're back with another episode. And this one I guarantee is going to be scrumtralescent. I'm your host, Kyle.
I'm Carmela.
And next to me, hey, don't jump the gun now.
My bad, I
Let
was
me give
excited.
you a proper
Let's hear it.
introduction.
Go ahead,
You
go
ready for
ahead.
this? And next to me, I got my graceful, stunning, newsworthy voice of a generation, Carmela Carter. Round of applause for my girl Carmela Carter, my wife, my everything. She's with us today. How's it going?
Well, okay, that's an introduction.
Yeah.
So next time I have to do an introduction for you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to set me off proper too. I want to be blessed upon like a king should.
Welcome back to Coastal Conversations.
Welcome.
Yeah, we have a good show for you today.
From Jake Paul to how a haka changed the world.
Oh my gosh.
To hangings.
To neo-Nazis running the streets. What is going on?
Bananas on walls. Duct tape.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna get real weird in here today.
Duct tape bananas. Yeah.
Duct tape bananas. Wait till you hear about these duct tape bananas. This is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Did you say Nazis roaming the streets?
Neo-Nazis.
Is that real?
No, that's real.
I'm a little worried now. I'm a little scared right now, but I'm prepared.
Welcome to America.
Bring it on.
All right, guys. So we're excited for today's show. We will go on a quick break and then we'll be right back with all the hot topics for today. Stay tuned for more Coastal Conversations.
Jake Paul fight, man. That Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. OMG. There were some big major moments in that fight. How did you like it?
I like boxing, so it was entertaining. The hype leading up to it was really good, and Mike Tyson's a legend, so yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were upset with Jake Paul trying to fight the 58-year-old Mike Tyson, but that guy's an animal. We watched him knock out plenty of people, and I think in certain instances in certain sports, that power and that instinct just doesn't go away. And I think Mike actually showed some instinct. He didn't get knocked out. He did tire fast. We saw that. My whole thing was, if he doesn't knock him out in the first 2 rounds, then he's going to slow down because that 58-year-old body just ain't going to be able to take it like that.
Yeah, you were saying that. But, at the end of the day, Mike really is a legend. So you're right. He's a monster. He's an animal. I mean, he was biting ears, y'all. I'm sure everybody knows that. That takes a certain level of animalistic characteristics.
He definitely has animalistic behavior, as he told an opponent one time that he wanted to eat his children. So
oh my gosh, that's scary.
He was the master at that mental kind of breakdown game. But yeah, the fight, man, Jake Paul, He walks away with a unanimous decision. Pardon me. Came away with the unanimous decision in the fight, and I think it was the proper call. I think, like I said, Mike slowed down in the beginning. He hit him with some big power shots that I think Jake Paul, he second guessed for a second on what the fuck am I doing here right now fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he realized like, damn, I'm really in the ring with Mike Tyson. Yeah. I mean, but Tyson did good. I mean, you can only expect that at 58 years old, at some point he was probably going to get a little winded or slow down, but even then, it's still this high echelon of fighting.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it wasn't without a payday, as Jake Paul walked away with $40 million
Oh
for
my
the fight.
gosh.
And Mike Tyson, and he got the lion's share because he put on the fight and it was his company and promotional company. Mike Tyson did not leave home empty handed, as he walked away with 20 million. What a bag to go in there and spar.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then, like, so the lead up was this huge thing. Wasn't the fight supposed to happen like in the summer?
It was supposed to be in June, I believe, and Mike had a flare up of like an ulcer problem that caused him to
Ugh.
go to the hospital, and he had to be down. And the only thing that could fix it or help him heal was that he had to not do anything, really. So that's why the fight got postponed. But it ended up being a great fight night. But the one thing that completely blew my mind and made me go, okay, what was going on here? Especially, Netflix had some problems and issues, but fuck that. The main thing that made me go, what are we doing right now and stuff, was when Mike gave that interview and those dark black cheeks were splayed across Netflix for millions of people to see. Was it a trolley moment? Because if it was amazing. Or was that just Mike not giving a fuck?
I think that Mike Tyson does not give a fuck
At all.
about anything. He's gonna do him. I mean, I'm sure he cares about stuff, but like, I feel like that was him just in a raw, real moment. However, those cheeks smacked you in the face. It was so very unexpected. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
I think 29 million Americans didn't expect that. Because look, we were drinking Maker's Mark whiskey. We were feeling good. Like, by the time it came on, we had Wingstop. We were dipping wings. We're having a good time. We're getting our gladiator spirit. Like, come on, Mike. And then we get the full Mike Moon. And I'll tell you what, I didn't like what I saw. I don't even want to see that. I mean, it happened so fast that I didn't have time to process it. So it happened. I know we just kept talking, and then we said, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Did we just see ass cheeks of a 58-year-old man? And they were like muscular ass cheeks, though. I mean, they weren't Joe Biden cheeks. Like, they were definitely like, those are some masculine cheeks.
Cheek gate.
Cheek Gate 24. Oh my God. Can it get any crazier?
Yeah, we could have left that part out. Like, who was the cameraman? Can you imagine being the cameraman standing there and then Mike Tyson turns around? The analyst, journalist, whatever's right there talking. And then he's like, all right, I'm done with this conversation, turns around. And you have one of the heavyweight champions of the world's ass cheeks right there. Like, he didn't think, like, let me lift the camera so that it just goes from like his spine up. Like, he just kept it there.
Hey, the cameraman, I guess he knew his mission and he completed it.
Entertainment.
So, with that had me, rolling with the anticipation. That was a good little like breaker because we were all like anticipating it and all that stuff. So that was a good funny moment. And then, the fight, man. Then we moved on and we got to see a treat that night. We got to see Amanda Serrano take on Katie Taylor. And when I say that this fight was a banger, it was a banger.
It was a really good fight. Like, it definitely did justice for women in boxing. Like, obviously, as a woman myself, we can do boxing, we can do all types of stuff that, guys get a lot of the recognition for, WNBA, all of that, right? But this was a really, really, really good fight.
Oh, yeah. And then we had Amanda Serrano repping Puerto Rico.
Hey.
And then we had Katie Taylor repping Ireland. I tell you what, from watching a lot of fights and boxing and all that stuff, man, a lot of good, strong fighters come from Puerto Rico and Ireland. There's some tough sons of bitches out there for sure.
So Katie was the champ, right?
Yes.
And then her and Amanda had fought before. This was their second fight. Katie got the win on the first one, correct?
She did. and then they fought again. So this was the second one, but the first one was such a good show, and they stole the show on the first one. The first one they completely stole the
I
show,
could see that.
and everybody was like, "Hey, we need to have them back." We definitely do. So yeah, man, that Katie Taylor. What kind of happened was Katie Taylor got hurt in the beginning. Amanda Serrano came out and hit her with a
Rocked her.
bomb and rock-a-bye baby. She was seeing stars. I mean, those little Tweety birds were flying around her head like she was rocked.
Yeah. And so, okay, but then later, Katie head butted, well, they collided, right? And
Yes.
Amanda got this intense cut on her eyelid. Like her whole eyelid was like falling, melting off her face.
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought I was on acid for a minute because I was like, "Is her eyebrow melting? Like, what is going on?" Like, so, but yes, the intentional headbutt came early in the first round, maybe the second round, and it looked when they slowed it down, it seemed like it was unintentional because, like we said, Katie Taylor's shorter than Amanda Serrano, who's a little taller, and normally shorter boxers want to fight from the inside, so they have to kind of do a lot of head movements and weaving, and they want to get in and get right in your chest so they can enact their combos.
Well, that makes sense because you're smaller, so you got to get in closer. Your reach isn't as long.
Absolutely, yeah. Most shorter fighters don't have a longer reach, so they got in there and they showed. Whereas Amanda Serrano was moving forward, Katie Taylor was moving forward, and then there was a collision there. But there were other instances in the fight where, yeah, being an Irish fighter, they're known to, and some of the Puerto Rican fighters and some other ones, but the Irish fighters are known to have some dirty tricks up their sleeve. If you think, i.e., Ricky Hatton with Floyd Mayweather, where Ricky Hatton was doing a lot of elbowing and a lot of just roughing you up in there.
Yeah.
So it's unexplainable. It's you really can't really just say, oh, this was intentional or not. But one interesting fact though is Katie Taylor used to disguise herself as a guy, so she came up fighting guys.
Oh.
And it was interesting because Ireland at the time said that it was illegal for women to fight in boxing, and this was pretty recent because they were like, no, we don't want the damage and all that stuff. But so she disguised herself as a boy and decided to go in there, and she's used to fighting guys, so she came in there, and that
She's
warrior
tough.
spirit is just, man, she's tough.
That's some Mulan style like
It's Irish
stuff.
Mulan.
Boxing, that's badass. So like, okay, so the original headbutt they said wasn't intentional,
Yes.
but then later on she got a point deducted
She
for
did.
continuing.
They had another headbutt, and the ref decided or thought it was appropriate given that it looked intentional. So, I can't speak to that, but I know that there is definitely times when somebody gets a cut, you target the cut.
Yeah.
And if there's, rub your hair in it, punch it, do the best you can. When you get a wound, you attack it.
Okay, but so then on the end of Amanda, I thought they were going to call the fight when the cut first happened. It was really bad and it just kept getting worse, but they did not call it. Like she's really stayed in there and kept fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. And she stayed in there, and man, she gave it all that she potentially had, and that was just amazing, man. I was super happy with that. Amanda Serrano ended up losing the fight, but they had it, score. I forgot how they had it scored, but I know that Amanda Serrano definitely landed 107 more punches than Katie Taylor. So plus the deduction, it speaks to some shenanigans a little bit.
Yeah, that's weird. And then Katie has a history of these claims that she fights dirty, like the headbutts and stuff. So that's not her first claim. It was a really good fight. Maybe because Katie's the champ. So like you really got to go and take it. If it's like punch for punch, they typically lean towards the champ.
Yeah, with the champion, you got to beat him outright. You got to literally knock the champion out, really, or, the chances of outpointing a champion is slim unless you completely go in there and destroy him. So in that fight, like in order to take that crown, you got to literally knock that person out.
Yeah, but I give it to Amanda. Like, I don't know very many people, including, tough men, that would stay in a fight with that vagina on their face.
Oh my God. And it was
so
big
bad.
vagina too.
It was, I give it to her. Well, that was a really good fight. And then I, one of the things that I find interesting personally about the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul thing is now that the fight is over, Jake Paul was talking about how he has respect for Mike and he saw him slowing down, et cetera, et cetera. So he didn't want to just knock him out, right? Like he wanted to show respect. But then fast forward like a day or two, and Jake Paul's apologizing to everybody, saying that he should have just knocked Mike out.
And I feel like that's kind of what he has to do in that sense, to keep up the bravado and keep the marketing going. Because, like I think really he was just excited that he didn't die because he was in the ring with Mike Tyson and that shit was getting hairy. But yeah, I would be a little celebratory too if I'm like, I just stepped in the ring with Mike Tyson, won, and I didn't die, and I can still like say my ABCs.
Bragging rights. Yeah. Well, and now there's also other people that are calling Jake Paul out, like beyond like you were talking about this. He's a professional fighter, like he's training and that type of stuff, but there's a different level of like professional fighter, right?
Oh,
Like his
absolutely.
tend to be expedition-esque. He's just like calling people.
Yeah, he's just calling people out and some of these fighters he's fought have been like, ex MMA guys, or they've been, boxers who were past their prime and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think this is a new vision of boxing, right? I think this is a new vision where you don't have to necessarily go in the WBC, and it's entertainment at the end of the day. So they're putting these exhibition fights together and they're pairing these unusual pairings and fighting different people. It's entertainment and people love it. So why not? I'm thinking that it definitely should just continue doing this because, hey, there's a new lane for boxing and I think it should be embraced.
Yeah, that's very true. We see that with so many things. So, of course, that could apply to boxing and stuff too, and how they're making their money and how it's airing and all of that. But I need to see him actually box somebody that, Muhammad Ali's grandson, for example, is calling
Oh,
him out. But, like,
ooh.
I want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Like, he is just one of those people that, granted, how him and his brother started and going viral and that type of stuff, having kids, we saw a lot of them, and he was like this annoying little kid. So like he hasn't outgrown that for me.
Yeah.
So I want to see him get knocked out.
And that's part of the lore I think he built for himself. He kind of
He
built this
used it.
villain bad guy kind of thing where he's like, I want people to feel like they want to see me get knocked out. It's the Floyd Mayweather effect. In
Yeah.
that sense, you tuned in if you didn't like him to see if he was going to die that day.
Well, to be determined.
To be determined. Well, overall, it was a great showcase. And, it was great for women's boxing. And I think, women's boxing was championed in that mode. And it put a highlight on the sport where we might be able to see some more of these women matches and see better things come out. So, yeah, other than that, man, I loved the day. I loved the show. The show was amazing. I thought it was a good production, minus the Netflix buffering and all that stuff that was going on. But I thought it was a great time. So, yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So moving on, speaking of fighting, did you see the video or have you heard the clip of the haka heard around the world?
My God, the haka that resonated across America and changed the path of New Zealand. Oh my God.
My goodness. Okay, so if you don't know, this is what's going on. Actually, let's switch it up. Instead of getting into the details right out the gate, listen to this clip. What you're about to hear is a haka which took place in New Zealand's parliament. Listen to it, get all the feels, and then let's break it down. All right, so what you just heard was a haka that occurred last week in New Zealand's parliament. So basically this haka occurred by Hannah Rafiti Maipi Clark. She's one of the representatives for the Māori people in New Zealand. So if you take you down history just a little bit, when the British and colonizers made their way to New Zealand, the Māori people are basically the indigenous people of that country, of that land. Okay, so here come the Brits. They're doing what they do, colonization. And New Zealand is one of the countries that are known for, in a positive way, of different cultures working together as this country is built, up to this day. Not without some faults, but overall, they have this positive reputation in the world. The Māori people, for example, have see a voice essentially in parliaments. You have government and you have parliament. It's a little bit different from ours, but you get the idea of it. Okay, so one of the things that happen with the Māori people, now not all Māori tribes, not all of them, but a lot of them. There was this treaty that came out in like 1840 called the Treaty of Waitangi. Okay, so what this did, it was fundamental for like race and cultural relations among the Brits that are coming in and the Māori people. So what this did was this treaty addressed equality, essentially, to the Māori people. It is not law, by the way. It is a treaty, but there's some confusion with the treaty. There's the like Brit-esque version in English, and then there's the Māori version. And so insert Parliament wanting to put in this bill where they want to define some of the verbiage to make it a little more clear, but on what exactly this treaty is. So this treaty for the Māori people, and if this is your culture and I am saying this wrong, please chime in. I'm just trying to give a basic understanding of what it is. So this treaty was very important because it allowed, like I said, equality, the sovereignty for the Māori people, land, health, positions, basic like human rights that everybody has, but specifically to them. I mean, they were the indigenous people.
Yeah, definitely. And we know like New Zealand has a huge Māori population. That was their indigenous land, wasn't it?
Well, exactly. So it's like the indigenous people of America, the natives, right? You can kind of compare it to them in that sense, that here comes people wanting to colonize to what America is now, but they have certain rights that are specifically given to them to make sure that their culture is upheld in these ever-changing ways. So, with that in mind, Parliament wants to redefine this treaty. Again, it's not law, but everything they've been doing up to this point has really included this treaty. And so some of the things in the bill, they make sense. Like, I don't think the context of the bill is what the issue is. It's basically equal human rights across the board. But I think where the problem comes in, so the Māori people oppose the bill, okay? So I think where the issue comes in is when we're talking about defining it, because like I said, there were two different versions, so they're interpreted two different ways. So they're trying to find like this middle balance, but a lot of the Māori people feel like they already compromised a lot with the Brits when they came to this treaty agreement. And so now it's essentially not pulling some of their rights away, but kind of pulling some of their rights away, right? So what would be an example? An example would be government can govern, right? Parliament can go in there and pass laws and all this in their tribe areas for the Māori people, okay? But recently, Parliament has been passing laws that negatively affect the Māori people. For example, there was a Māori Health Authority. This was created to make sure that there was health equity for the Māori people. Well, now Parliament went in and put in these laws and they closed that health authority.
That's messed up.
Yeah, so like why would they want to continue to bring something like that on? So Hannah Rafferty Maipi Clark, she is one of the youngest representatives that sit there. She kind of reminds me of like an AOC. Like she is not afraid to speak up for her people. So when this bill comes, a lot of the different sects of their parliament, the government, whatever, voted opposed. There were some that were for it. She went into this haka and she rips the paper. And if you don't know what a haka is, basically it's an expression of the Māori's culture, right? It's about like unity and strength and pride and just that ancestral, even within yourself, spiritual pull of just like that pride that you have and standing up for it. So I don't know about you, but every every single time that I see one of the videos or I hear it, I absolutely get the goosebumps. Like, they are standing up and not letting, look, they were already colonized, right? And so then they make up about 18% of New Zealand. So,
Wow.
yeah, like you given they're, indigenous from the country, you would
Yeah.
think there would be more, but, and they already have had to lose what was theirs. Like, they agreed to live within peace and have their voice, but now you're trying to take that sovereignty away. What they're trying to do, I probably wasn't clear enough. What the bill is trying to do is say that everybody has that across the board. And of course, everyone has human rights, right? But what it's doing is null and voiding what is specific for the Māori people, what is guaranteed. You can't just come in there and take everything they have.
Yeah, what it sounds like is, we're seeing a repeat, and I wanted to kind of sit back and let you really break that down. And you absolutely broke it down beautifully, by the way. But what it seems like is that we're seeing a repeat of the tactics that some of the colonial British and other people have used in these other states, capitals, and regions of the world and stuff. We're seeing that the erasing of history,
Yeah.
the moments of, hey, we're gonna say that the slaves were actually laborers. Look at what Florida's doing in DeSantis.
Right.
Like, he's absolutely trying to take some of these keywords out of the book. And for us,
Erasing history.
he's erasing history. And as Black people, I know that I'm infuriated every time I hear that you want to change it to like laborers, or you want to change it to something different than what it is. It drives me crazy. I absolutely just can't wrap my mind out of it. And some people are like, hey, we're past that, let's move on, we're not really a big deal anymore. But it's absolutely a big deal, especially for us, for people that are African American, because we grew up with elders who told us what it really was. We read American history, and the argument is, hey, we already have American history, and that's where everybody learns that from. So no special treatment, basically, right? No special treatment, and we don't need to just touch on African American politics or studies or, hey, what we called you guys. We're just going to change it because these younger ears don't need to be influenced by the truth. That is crazy.
No, I completely agree. If we're talking about America specific, removing certain language from schools and what our children are taught is asinine to me. It's asinine. Like, I'm sorry that, so-and-so's grandfather or great-great-grandfather was a slave owner that whooped people's asses or put them in hot boxes or did these acts that you find shame in. Like, I'm sorry if that makes your white fragility uncomfortable, but that's the reality of our American history. And so for people of Black descent, you take and say that we want it to be here and we were learning a trade,
That's
that
disrespectful.
it is like, no, they were enslaved people. So, everybody knows the history of it. So to minimize that and the impact that it's had on the Black culture, it's just crazy. People get upset that the statues were removed, and they, then flip it and say, not everybody, but this argument has been made. It's been flipped that, well, you're removing our history. But that's literally trying to be done, in what's been taught to our children on the opposite side of that. And then also, sometimes I think people don't realize that, okay, one of the reasons something such as the statues wanted to come down is that is a daily reminder in our faces that, this is your hero and this is who you look up to and stuff. Guess what? Those were our ancestral abusers. Do you want to look at them every day?
And oppression is real, y'all. Oppression is real. It's not something to be glided over or glazed over and stuff. Like, that happens. And when you oppress a certain people, and like we were just talking about the hot boxes and some of these things, if you go further, and let me put my science and biology hat on real quick. When you go deep in like that, those things were ingrained into our DNA. The direct trauma scientifically proves that those things were engraved into our DNA, and that shaped how we move, how we resonate with certain things, how certain things might make us have a reaction to certain, aspects. It's like for Black people, right? We're in the car, we're driving. Have you ever been driving while Black and you see those red and blue lights
Oh,
behind you,
gosh.
or they're not even on, but they pull up. You know, as a black person, I'm nervous. I could
Yeah.
have my kids in the car and maybe some 20 red roses or something, right? I'm panicking when that car pulls up. That is complete genetic marker manipulation that occurred while, you know, receiving all those traumas from the past.
No, that's very true. You know, of course, that there will be those that say, "Well, if you're not doing anything wrong," or "I get nervous when I see a cop too." Yes, yes, you know, those have a certain level of validity, but at the same time, it's a natural thing that occurs with people of color. So, I mean, in so many different ways. Now, when you think about situations such as that and how people feel and why something like this is going on in New Zealand. Well, speaking of education, that's actually something that is being done in New Zealand. The appropriate and correct, Māori history is not being taught like that amongst the population, or it's being minimalized, or just like they're trying to do here in America. You know, I know for me personally, when I see such a strong, I'm holding my ground for my people, and we have pride, and you are not going to continue to oppress us or try to oppress us more. We refuse to let this happen. When I say I get goosebumps, I know you do too. It is
Absolutely.
It's a guttural feeling that you have that just pulls all these emotions up.
Yeah, and what a lot of people may not understand is, this is a vision and a glimpse to what, I was taught as, a black person that has, people that were pretty close to slavery in that sense, or that can at least tell us how the Jim Crow era was and some other times like that.
Pre-civil rights.
And what they don't understand is this is the old ways. Right? Mm-hmm. This is the ways this is the hakas. This is, a Negro spiritual. When we hear that,
right.
Something invokes in us and we activate, right? Just like when you hear that haka, activation. And, what's crazy is the duality and solidarity that no matter if you're black or if you're anything else like that, when you hear the old ways come on and you hear the haka, you hear a Negro spiritual, you see a Gee's Bend quilt that shows you the directions to freedom and things about the Underground Railroad, they hit you in a way that a lot of people don't understand unless you're that, right? So, if you're an African American, that it might hit you some sort of way. But what I'm getting to is these are the old ways of the world, right? Some of the most oldest bits of spirituality and actually the tribal nature of it all, and it's about to get real tribal out there, y'all. I think with what's coming out, and then especially when we see other governments and forms of that are going to go ahead and start enacting these policies and overtly just trying to erase history and stuff, you're going to see a pullback from a lot of the ethnicities out here who are going to get really tight with their spirituality, and it's going to get very tribal in nature. People are going to revert back to the old ways.
Yeah, and that's not to say that violence is going to ensue, and no, that's not what we're saying. If you're listening to this and all you hear is here's these ethnic people who can to live in the past, please look at yourself, because that is the problem. It's not about not moving forward. Everybody wants to move forward, but there are real disparities, not just in America, but clearly, in other countries as well. So yes, this is a deep rooted cultural difference. And so something like the haka, so that was a really short clip. That was the beginning of it. And what you didn't hear or see is all these massive amount of Māori people standing up in the parliament room and all doing the haka. It was so grand. Powerful. I'm so proud of them. Even though that's not my culture, it's just seeing them stick together and stand up for themselves like that is just...
And when I say and see this is the cool thing, because when we say the old ways, right, it goes over a lot of people's heads, right? And exactly the assumptions come out that they might go, oh, they're talking about violence and all that. But we're talking about old magic here. We're talking about what a Negro spiritual does when,
What
no
that
matter
feeling it
how old
invokes.
you are, what it invokes, what activates inside you, right? And there are certain things that some people are just not privy to, and you're
Yeah.
not privy to because you don't understand that, and you don't understand it because you're not a part of that, right? And it's something passed down that has been passed down for thousands and thousands of years. So I don't want to fearmonger and say, oh, the old ways and we're about to do voodoo on everybody. It's not that, but it's definitely like there's a certain aspect of spirituality and these deep guttural ancestral things that we have, and you got to see an embodiment of that in New Zealand, and it was just a beautiful moment of
Pride.
instant activation, no hesitation. We know the mission,
Yeah.
and it's because it's spiritually and traditionally ingrained into their DNA and has been for tens of thousands of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that so another thing, actually, if you don't know, they're also marching in New Zealand in protest. They're going up to the Capitol, a 9-day march, a 9-day march. So, for example, they were crossing a bridge, the people who were marching, and it took them 2 hours to cross like 5,000 people. So they're trying to, move forward and stand up for themselves and do what they need to do in multiple ways. And it hasn't been violent. Yeah. And, I remember hearing something somebody said recently that was like show me, I've never seen a strong woman who hasn't basically had struggles in life. So, if you don't have that feeling, maybe you can hear, but maybe you won't fully understand the struggles other people go through. And like, that's okay. I'm not saying I want people to go through struggles, but like, find ways to just open your mind. Anyways, I'm proud of the Hakka people. This is just amazing, and it's everywhere, and it's affecting the world, not just the people in New Zealand. I do hope that some of that bleeds over to America, because there are definitely things that are going on where, if we could come together and unite, we could really get stuff done.
Absolutely. And I guess, I feel like we've touched on this, pretty in depth. And,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you guys in America with just something to think about. If you're wondering what's about to happen, what am I seeing, what's going on, here is my take from the insider, an ethnic insider. Okay, guys, here we go. I feel like the tribal old ways are a force unlike anything on earth. And, the old ways of ancestral conjuring, spirituality, song, and protest are going to be prevalent in these next 4 years. This is a direct result of the proposed discriminatory legislation and practices presented by our current government, as well as the colonial-style practices of the British monarchy that we see today. The world consists of ebbs and flows. When they ebb, we flow. When they flow, we ebb. The reawakening of tribal unity and spirituality will be immense in the face of oppression and discrimination. So y'all better sit tight and get your popcorn ready, because it's going to get real tribal and real spiritual out here.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. If you didn't understand that, maybe rewind it back and listen to it again, and it'll give you some good insight. And, this does make me think of a lot of things that are going on in America, and there are a few things that have come up that, even though it's not in New Zealand and specifically related to the Hakka stuff, it definitely meets the theme. So let's get into that. Let's take a break, because we've been going for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So go.
We've been excited.
Go, Maddie people.
Go,
All right,
Manatees.
Mike Tyson, the legend, and we will be right back.
More trending topics. This episode is brought to you by FAFO, because sometimes people just need to FAFO.
All right, welcome back to Coastal Conversations. So we got a few more topics to talk about, and then we get into all the fun stuff, right? Not that this isn't fun, it's just, important to hear about.
Absolutely. Important stuff news you can use. Something that's going to change your life or invoke a conversation.
Yeah.
So in top news today, I'm sure many of you probably saw yesterday, because this will air and it'll be yesterday or a couple days ago, that Joe Biden allowed the ATACMS to be used in the Ukrainian conflict with Russia.
What's ATACMS?
The ATACMS is the Army Tactical Missile System, and it's a supersonic tactical ballistic missile designed and manufactured by the U.S. defense company Lockheed Martin. Whoa, that's big news in the fact that it can definitely change the tide of the war. Will it be the end-all be-all and that's going to win Ukraine the war and stuff? No, absolutely not. But it is going to allow for a deeper strike from Ukraine deep into Russian territory where they'll be able to hit some of these bases, some of these resupply bases and other things, important factors to the Russian people.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, so Ukraine didn't get the okay before from the US to use these tactical missiles. So I know Zelensky had said something in the past about that's basically like fighting with one arm behind your back. So I'm sure this is huge.
Yeah, this is going to change the tide right here.
Yeah.
You know, this is definitely going to give them another tool in the tool belt.
Okay, if you don't know, we have a huge military background, and I know what ATACMS is. I just wanted him to say it, for all of you who might not know what that is. Zelensky and defending Ukraine and all of the Russia stuff. I mean, I want to say it's been like almost 3 years now of the Russia-Ukraine thing. Do you find it odd that Biden, after no, you won't be able to use these long-range missiles. I know Putin has said something in regards to them as well and his thoughts, but now all of a sudden the election's over, Biden's on his way out. Why is the timing kind of questionable, or what do you think?
It definitely has a questionable timing to it because, one thing that I think about is, okay, is this a politically driven motive to sow chaos, a little bit of chaos in the incoming Trump administration, which is going to inherit this conflict? And we know Trump has been boisterous about saying he's going to end the war and they'll end it fast. And we do have Zelensky on record talking to Donald Trump and saying he believes that he would end the war a lot faster than Joe Biden. So it makes you think, because Joe Biden was so staunchly against the use of it, and that seems to be okay when they were in power. That was the political game plan right there, was to, hey, let's not have them do that. But now that we've come into this new era and time where he's saying, yeah, go ahead and use it, it makes you think, is it that, or did you just have a change of heart?
Also because we are getting ready in the next couple months to switch administrations, is it possible that, so there have been comments made by Trump about Russia potentially keeping and essentially taking over parts of Ukraine, agreeing that they should be able to do that, so to speak. So do you think that Biden then coming in and saying to Zelensky, hey, you know what? Let's change course. You can use these long-range ballistic missiles. We know the damage missiles can do, but maybe it gives them some power, as I don't mean physical power. I mean
a bargaining chip.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think so. I think it absolutely is going to be a bargaining chip. The real thing is going to be our bargaining chip. What I really think is going to be the real question is Zelensky going to immediately start using them, or is he going to wait, until the Trump administration comes in and then use that said bargaining chip? Because we don't know if Trump and Putin, they're really not the most trustworthy people, and if they're saying we're going to do peace and we're going for a peace plan, we want that, I don't necessarily know if we're going to get that action. And I think they're going to hold on to it maybe and say, all right, if it doesn't look like there's going to be peace, then let World War III begin.
Gosh.
Not funny, but hey, you got to laugh in these trying times. So yeah, on the geopolitical front, this has big ramifications. So that's pretty much it for top news on Joe Biden, man. That's what I got over here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. It can just go in so many different directions. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Well, okay, a couple more things in America. I know we were talking about the Haka thing, right? And kind of the feelings and some of the things that stokes. So, if you don't know, in Columbus, Ohio, there were a bunch of neo-Nazis marching down the street.
They still exist?
They still exist.
Those guys?
They do. During the Buckeyes, right?
Yeah,
Buckeyes.
Ohio State.
Yes. Football game. There was a group of them that were marching down the street. They had on all black with a black mask with red on it. They had these humongous flags that were black and had the red Nazi, yeah, exactly, the swastika. And they were yelling out some very anti-Semitic and anti-black slurs. You can use your imagination on what that was, but but.
Well, my thing is you got a stadium with about 110,000 people in there. You got a football team that lifts weights every single day, that work hard, and you're going to find the majority of black people on that team and at that school. So, it shows a sign of cowardice that you're going to do it while everybody is inside and occupied with the game. I guess you thought the streets were safe and that you can then go out there and spew your Nazi propaganda and all that stuff. Well, when we just did that other commercial with the FAFO, I think those guys need a big jug of FAFO.
Oh my
and
gosh.
if you keep playing these dumb games, like at my Caucasian friends say, you're going to win stupid prizes. So keep on doing what you do, and you're going to FAFO real fast.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're in 2024 and there's still like this type of hate. Like, oh my gosh, people, like, come on. Like, it's never going to happen. Like, it's just never going to happen.
No.
There's not enough supporters of this rhetoric and hate and just, it's not going to happen. You're not going to win. So just go sit down.
Yeah,
I don't know,
and,
just go sit down.
We're not talking about, we got to ban the Nazi. It would be great if they didn't exist. If the neo-Nazis, I don't see them having a place anywhere in this history and all that, and some people are going to say, well, it's freedom of speech, and I get, look, on the bare minimum, you have the freedom to go outside and peacefully protest. That's in our Constitution. It is what it is. But you also bear the responsibility of any consequences that come from your dumbass actions. So if you want to play them games, then there's plenty of people out here with some violent teddy bears to hand out to you. So you don't want to do that.
Violent teddy bears. Oh my gosh.
You'll win a prize. I guarantee you'll win a prize. So step right out. No.
Oh my gosh.
We're about peace here, coastal conversation.
They need to just go away. Well, okay. So kind of in the theme, and then we'll get off the more serious stuff. But did you hear, this one's sad, there was a 7-year-old boy in the 2nd grade in Maryland that was hung by his jacket, I should say, in the school bathroom. So, can you, oh my gosh.
My fist and my jaw clenched hearing that. Again, we were just talking about what invokes what, right? And when we hear a black child was hung in a bathroom, and that there may have been murmurs of saying, we're going to do like the ancestors did, your people back in the days. Yeah, that invokes, it activates and makes you want to just pull up, just drop everything and pull up.
Yes. So, there's kind of 2 parts to this story, right? So, one, what is being said is that there were 2 little boys that were in one of the school's bathrooms, one being 7 in the 2nd grade and the other being in the 4th grade. And at some point, the 2nd grader, who happened to be a black child, was hung by his jacket in some form, and he almost died, y'all. Like, his parents described how blood vessels were busted, his eyes. The principal went in and found him. He was foaming at the mouth. He has contusions to the neck there. And then the little boy said that the other boy apparently made a comment about, I'm going to show you what my people used to do to people like you, basically. So on the surface, hearing those things, my gosh.
Yeah.
Instantly, are you kidding me? This is a baby. First of all, none of that is okay, right? But this is a precious little baby.
Absolutely.
If the parents need to go be with their son, don't worry, because the rest of the community is going to pull up.
Oh, the community. The picnic is pulling up for you, my guy, for sure.
Yeah.
That's it. It's crazy because, on the surface and with some of those things that, the stoking and stuff, it made me instantly infuriated, right? I'm instantly mad. And then, after that kind of calmed down a little bit, we really start to look at the details of the case. And that's where I think there might be some potential, not saying it is, but there might be a potential for, there might have been some misunderstandings, because they say he had a jacket on and he was hanging from a hook kind of little thing on in the stall. Yeah. So the school district said that the boys were horse playing. So actually, right before we came to record this, there was an update. So, you hear, what? The school district's talking about horse playing? What kind of horse playing is that? Nah. So of course the parents have called for an investigation, and they are making requests like 4th graders and 2nd graders shouldn't be in the same bathroom in the hall, that sort of stuff, all of which I think is very, very, very valid. I think that before we just look, I say this lightly. Patience.
Okay? Because everything in my soul, just from the surface of the story, is oh no, we need to pull up. But I think we should wait for the story to unfold just a little bit, because I did see an update that apparently that 4th grader boy that was also in the bathroom, apparently that second grader got stuck. He's the one that ran out to get help. And so then the principal came in and was like, he can't get down. With that new detail, is it everything you would instantly assume? I don't know. It still has to unfold. But just the thought of however it happened, just the thought of that little precious baby, like, and that, my gosh,
that regardless,
scars.
It's a tragedy. Granted, he's still alive, and that's great. But it's a tragedy on all forms. If it was just them horse playing, it's still a tragedy. He almost lost his life, and I'm happy that it seems to be that we're moving out of it was a racially driven, kind of I'm trying to hang this child. Because when you first told me, I thought there was lynching rope involved. And I'm like, how did this kid sneak fucking 10 feet of rope into school? Like, what? That's crazy. You have to lighten the mood a little bit, but you're like, yo, that's insane.
Yeah.
So, this is a good reason or a good thing for people to, kind of, you got to weigh things out sometimes. You got to get the whole grand context of the situation.
Yeah. Okay. But I will say, even if that child went and ran and got help, if he made that comment, that is like, parents, we need to do better. We need to do better. We're not horse playing like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And that's exactly. And we're not going to sit here and act like, kids play properly, and stuff. But, I know we've said some stuff. I'm not going to get into details, but we know that as friends and being around, your friends and stuff, you say certain things. If you're in the military, you're in a dorm, or you're, whatever you're doing, it gets pretty racial in there. It's all in fun, and sometimes it's all in fun, but you have racist jokes and all kind of jokes and stuff like that. You do with your kids, you do with that, but just saying it, and when something bad happens like this, then it's gonna get put in that category. That's just what's gonna happen. Yeah. And I get it. You guys might have just been joking and playing around and have that kind of rapport with each other. But when somebody's hung in the bathroom, then of course we're all gonna be like, what in the fuck is going on here?
Absolutely. And to be 7, my gosh. Well, on lighter news, it is time to lighten the mood of coastal conversations.
Woo!
So let's take a break, and then when we come back, we can get bananas.
Get bananas.
Get bananas.
Where are we going with this? We're getting bananas, huh? BANANAS?
Yes, BANANAS is bananas.
Hey, we'll be back, y'all, with some weird ass what the fuck news.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Okay.
All right, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Coastal Conversations, brought to you by Spotify.
All right, it's time for the best section, in my opinion, the one that has been super popular, one that has made you smile from ear to ear. What the fuck news? And today we got a doozy one for you. I know I got a good one. You got a good one over there?
I do have a good one, yes, but I'm gonna let you start. Okay, babe, go ahead. I need something to laugh at. The other stuff was so serious. So what you got?
I think I can give you that. I can give you that satisfaction here. So we're going to start. This is coming out of South Florida. Congratulations, Florida. You played yourself again.
Florida always makes the, crazy news.
So I got a story that's a little bit older. It occurred on December 13th, 2023 at 3:44 p.m. So we have a drunken tourist was arrested in Florida after he molested a manatee statue, then tossed gator nuggets throughout the restaurant before he went on an expletive-filled tirade at a hotel, authorities said. Anthony Michael Lisa, 23, was arrested Friday night on a charge of disorderly intoxication, according to an arrest report from the Pinellas County Sheriff's. A patron of the store, or the restaurant, said once he was outside the restaurant, he molested a plastic manatee that was in the restaurant's parking lot and was again asked to leave. America, please, look, stop doing meth. That shit's not good for you. Stop doing hallucinogens if you can't control yourself. My main question to this shit, though, is why would you molest the plastic statue? What did you do? Did you stick your finger in its mouth? Or, did you tickle it? What happened?
Florida. What?
Why, though? And then what a waste of gator nuggets. I mean, it's like you're going to throw gator nuggets around like the fucking fried gator fairy, like you're blessing people and shit, right? And you're going to throw these little nuggets around. What a waste of food. And, gator nuggets, that sounds pretty good, though. I mean,
yeah,
fried gator nuggets?
I've never eaten gator. But, I mean, fried, that might be good. Unless it tastes like swamp.
I mean, I don't give a fuck what it is. You fry it and you give me hot sauce, I'm in heaven. But until you start tasting dead algae and minnows in the meat, then it's a different story. And gators eat people, so you might be low-key being a cannibal if you're eating
Oh my gosh.
a fucking gator.
Or you're like eating dog. They eat little dogs and stuff.
So much to unpack there.
Yeah. So, okay, somebody in Florida got kicked out of a restaurant. Is that what you said?
He was being belligerent in the restaurant.
So they said you gotta go. And he molested a plastic manatee?
It was the symbol and the lineage of their restaurant. This plastic manatee is well known and people love it and enjoy it. It is the bedrock of this restaurant and it was violated by a drunken man.
Okay, so you know on the Chappelle show when he plays Rick James and he's like, fuck your couch.
I'm
like,
Rick James, bitch.
do you think it was one of those moments? He was fuck your restaurant and like just completely assaulted the plastic manatee.
You know, when it comes to South Florida, I'm pretty sure revenge may have been on the perpetrator's mind as he thought it would be a pertinent act to molest this inanimate object. Now, the wordplay here, right, is what I'm tripping because I'm like, you molested it?
That
like,
is such a strong word.
That's a strong word. He didn't
That's
diddle
aggressive.
or just play with a manatee or deface it. Like, you're saying he molested it. Now I want to know what he did. I want to know what he did.
How far did this go? Like, when you go to court, does the manatee get to testify?
Oh my God.
Not that being molested is funny, FYI.
It's not
Like,
at all.
not, but we're just talking about this story in the manatee.
That's crazy. I picture the manatee testifying and being like, he touched my blowhole. He took his fingers and
My
inserted
gosh.
them
Whoa.
into my mouth.
Whoa, what did he do to his flipper?
But for real, did he put a body part on this manatee? Either way, Michael, Lisa, you just made What the Fuck news, and I know this is a little older story, but goddamn, bro. Now, you just found it a year later, and I'm perplexed by your actions, sir. You deserve all the jail time you are gonna get.
Yes, it's because he has 3 first names. What did you say? Anthony, Michael, Lisa.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You were set up to one day do something to a plastic manatee.
Absolutely, man. I mean, 3 names, like we said, serial killers, Menendez brothers, Christmas, too fucking early. If you have 3 first names and you live in Florida, you're probably gonna molest a manatee.
That's so weird. And the gator nuggets.
And gator nugs. Like, you threw gator nuggets, you sprinkled them bitches like you were blessing a congregation or some shit.
Oh my gosh.
That is insane. Well, that's my story for WTF News. I hope I can hear y'all laughing through the fucking microphone. Babe, I know you got a banger for me. Hit me with it.
Okay, so you're talking about gator nuggets. By the way, now I'm hungry.
Oh,
I wonder
starving.
if gator's tough. Okay, I digress. But on the theme of food, this actually, no kidding, just kind of goes right into it. All right. So, where's my artist? People who, actually like to go to like art galleries and have the conversations about the piece of art and, it instokes all of that. Okay, so there was a piece of art called The Comedian. It was a banana taped on the wall with gray duct tape.
What? I mean, what?
Okay. So, the banana, called Comedian, originally sold like 3 pieces. The 3 pieces of this art, which by the way was just a banana, were sold from anywhere from like 120,000 to 150,000 or something like that, right? In fact, when it was displayed, there was a gentleman who took the piece of art down and bit the banana.
Fucking asshole.
Because like that's art, but he said he did it because he was hungry.
You dumb motherfucker. That's art, my guy.
Yes. Okay, so this Comedian, that's the title of it, has been described as being profound and provocative. So yeah,
I call bullshit.
Now fast forward, well, it gets better. Fast forward like a few years. This was like a few years ago. Now this conceptual piece of art is valued anywhere from $1 to $1.5 million.
Oh my fucking God. Are you serious?
It's a banana.
I'm about to go tape a kumquat to the wall next time and see what they fucking do with that. And I want my 1.2 million. A fucking banana. Was it a ripened banana? Was it a yellowed banana, slightly browned?
Well, the picture shows it was just like a perfectly ripe yellow banana. It hadn't started turning brown. It wasn't green. Like it was a banana taped to a wall.
And then some fucking dork had to come along and bite it because they figured, I'm hungry. I will replace it. So they replaced the banana, so it's not necessarily the original banana. So like, goddamn. But shit.
I mean, it's been replicated, right? There were at least 3 sold that we know of. They said that they never planned on the banana being the original banana. You know, they had replacements because they knew that it would get old. But it's considered a conceptual piece of art. And, you know, art is up for interpretation, right?
Absolutely.
So here's this banana with the title of comedian. What does that make you think of?
And you know, that can probably invoke a lot of thoughts and feelings and stuff. You know, I mean, and I see it. I get it. Now that it's explained in that, okay, comedian. Hey, if I go tape a fucking banana to the wall in this art exhibit, watch me walk away with 1.2 million, and some dumbass human is probably going to take a bite of the fucking art. What's going to happen?
Yeah, so you have a replacement on deck.
So you got to have multiple bananas. Well, I'll tell you what, babe. We need to go to the store. Get some great duct tape. Let's get some plantains and some bananas, and I'm going to fucking tape a peach to the wall at the next art festival and see if we can get 1.2 million. What do you think?
I mean, it sounds like a plan. I mean, obviously it does stoke conversation. What does that mean? Comedian, like, you know, but $1.5 million, that's crazy.
I think I know exactly what he meant by it, and it's so fucking profound. Like, I think it might break the fucking internet.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Everybody, turn your radios up, put your windows up and all this shit, right? This is what he meant. Humans are fucking stupid, and they'll buy anything.
So was he laughing at art?
I think he laughed all the way to the fucking bank at that point.
I mean, that would be an interpretation, which is the whole point of art.
But you know what? Art is lit, so keep doing art. Yeah. But goddamn, y'all, this has been a great iteration of What the Fuck News, and damn.
Okay, sorry. Speaking of bananas, actually, before we wrap it up, do you know that people have banana phobia?
Tell me you're lying right now.
No.
Oh my God.
It's a very real thing, banana phobia. Like, it's not like it needs some other name, agoraphobia, or no, it's banana phobia. So the sight or smell of a banana, it instokes anxiety, panic attacks, nausea. Like, it's a very real thing. So how many people walked into there not knowing that there was a piece of art with the banana taped on a wall, and they had banana phobia?
Their lives changed forever when the trauma ensued. Like, you gotta think. Wait, hold on. Bananas are the biggest phobia out there? Because now I'm thinking,
it is a phobia.
It is, right? So are there really people who walk into a grocery store, see a banana, and fucking faint?
Oh my gosh.
And heart starts pounding, and it's the fucking bananas trying to, like, it's bananas in here. Oh my God.
I mean, I guess there's a phobia for everything, or like some weird fear, but like... banana phobia. That's a new one. I learned that. I never thought of that.
That's
ever.
Crazy. And again, you know, the most profound thing I could say right now is sometimes humans are fucking crazy, and that's just what we do.
I choked on a sausage one time when I was little. So do I have sausage phobia? Like,
we could go in so many directions with that, but we're not going to do that because I have 100 of them in the clip right now on fully automatic. But I'm not going to do that.
It's not funny. I thought I was going to die.
So you have sausage phobia?
I might have sausage phobia. When I say I chew that piece of sausage so aggressively and thoroughly before every swallow. Okay, this just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, and we've gone too far.
Do you have any weird fears or phobias?
It's definitely not of sausages, but yeah, you know what? Let's take a break, and then let's come back with that. You know what? Let's do a new segment here, man. Just for a quick one-off segment. We'll come back with weird fears, man. Because I got one, and then I'm going to ask you the same. Because I feel like everybody has a weird-ass fear. So we'll take a quick break. I
already know.
And we'll be back in with weird fears, you guys. This has been What the Fuck News and Coastal Conversations. See you on the other side.
Yes, go eat a banana. It's worth $1.5 million.
Oh, buy duct tape. This episode is brought to you by FAFO. Because sometimes people just need to FAFO. All right, Coasties, moving right along, we're going into weird fears. Have you ever seen a chancla on the side of the road and it got your heart pumping? Have you ever been afraid of a sausage like my beautiful wife here because she had a near-death experience? Or maybe you don't like ladybugs. This is Weird fears.
Weird fears. I mean,
Weird
I don't
fears.
think a chancla is a weird fear. I think that's probably a very real fear
Oh,
for
yeah.
a lot of people.
It's not about the chancla fear. It's
It's
about
about
what's
who's
attached to
behind
the
it.
chancla, which is
Exactly.
probably some abuelita that's about to throw that shit like a boomerang and hit you in the back of your neck.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yes. You already know. Don't play with the chancla.
So weird fears. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You should go first since y'all just heard about my sausage fear.
All right, and let me get close and let me get serious because we got a PSA here, guys. There's a very real threat to America out here, and they're around. They're hovering. They're in your lights. They might be in your closet nibbling on your food or nibbling on your jackets like food. They might be just in a tree somewhere. I'm talking about the biggest threat to American security right here. You know what that is?
No.
A fucking moth. I
What?
am deathly afraid of moths. And you hear me out. Hear me out. I know y'all are laughing. Hey,
Okay.
hear me out,
okay.
America, please.
I'm sorry. I'm just picturing you being afraid of.
I'm 6'3", like 230 pounds, and I will flee from a moth in a
Okay.
heartbeat.
Yes. Yes.
So
okay.
first off, these little winged, dusty assholes will fly in your closet and eat your food. I used to be afraid of mothballs, right? Because they used to have my grandma would have mothballs in the closet. It always seems like old people just have an endless supply of fucking mothballs,
Yeah,
right?
and peppermints.
So yeah, exactly. And maybe because the peppermint keeps the moths away, right? Peppermint a day will keep the fucking moths away. So I used to see these mothballs, and I asked my grandma one day, I said, Grandma, why do you have these mothballs in the closet? What is it for? And when she told me, the moths get in there and they eat your clothes. I thought, is this a haunted house? Is this like, what kind of villain flies in your closet and eats your clothes? That's bullshit. That coupled with the fact that when you kill a moth, and debris fly off that motherfucker, right? So I think of like, when you vacuum and you open that shit up and sometimes the dust gets in your face and you're just like, fuck, I just got 97 different molecules in my fucking nose, right? And I might die.
Dusty
When a
molecules.
moth releases its dusty little gatherings off of its fucking wings and then it's just everywhere, it just makes me feel so fucking uncomfortable when I see that. And lastly, America, I think we should take Godzilla vs. Mothra and we need to put a disclaimer on that shit, right? Because watching the old Godzilla battle a 90-foot fucking moth with red eyes and shit, seeing that made me believe wholeheartedly that this is the end of the world right here. So every time I see a fucking moth, I think end of the world. I got to do my best Godzilla impression and fucking spit fire right at this motherfucking moth. So excuse me, America, if I'm afraid of a fucking moth because they're just fucking terrible creatures, and I'm sticking to it. Fuck moths. Eradicate all moths. I never want to see a moth again, and every moth can die, and I don't give a shit about it. That's my weird fear, motherfuckers. A moth.
Moths.
Moths.
Okay. To your point, moths are dusty.
Dusty
They
motherfuckers.
really are dusty. They are like the little vacuum filters. Like
Dirty.
It's full of dust. Like, what's the point of a moth?
I mean, they're vacuum filter birds or whatever you want to call them, right? And then they can get big. You've ever seen
Yeah.
a two-sized moth? Stealth bomber looking motherfuckers. And I'm like, why do you need to be so big? Why do you need to be so big? I've refused to go into a door because there was a 17-inch moth just sitting there waiting to just flutter its dusty ass fucking contents on me. And I'm not having it. I'm not having it. So, you touched a little spot in my heart right here that made me actually come out and tell the world, yeah, I'm Kyle, I'm 6'3", 235 pounds, and I don't fuck with moths.
You're afraid of moths?
I'm afraid of those motherfuckers. It's war with the moths.
Do you think that moths wish they were butterflies?
I feel like they're vagabonds, right? I feel like they're haters. I feel like they are envious of a beautiful butterfly and its gorgeous wings and filth-free wings and shit. And a moth to me is just like, these are the homeless dwellers of nature and shit.
Ugh.
Like they just go around collecting bullshit. They're the hoarders of nature. They just collect shit and then drop it on you. Like, fuck a moth. Fuck moths. That's my weird fear. I don't like moths. So what about you? I can fuck a moth.
I'm sorry. I'm just picturing like a moth flying, a swarm of moths flying around you and you freaking out.
Yeah.
And like with every flap of their wings, their little moth dust is like falling into your eyes. And like maybe that's why they hide in closets in dark spaces.
That's where they belong, in the shadows. Because when they come out, it brings the fear of God out in me and stuff. And I don't know why, but that's why when I see a moth, it's up. I'm fighting you with every last fucking bit of my energy. So, I'm afraid of moths, guys. That's my weird fear, man. That's my rant on weird fears.
That is so random.
It's very random.
That is so random.
And it's real. It's real.
I believe that. Mothophobia.
Mothophobia should be the number one fucking phobia on earth.
Oh my gosh. I don't think that my fear, I think your fear is better than my fear. I mean, like in a extreme end. I don't know. But
you got sausage on there that you're afraid of, so it's pretty equal.
Okay, so
speak from your heart, queen.
Ladies, we live in 2024 when beautiful eyebrows are such an important thing. They frame your face right. They they just, when they're on point, they're on point. And if not, we try to do what we can to make them that. I am afraid that I'm gonna get alopecia eyebrows. Don't look at me like that. On everything. Okay, I have sparse eyebrows. Like, I just don't have super, super thick eyebrows. I never have. You have these luxurious eyebrows. You can, take a rake to, and, you still have a full set of brows, okay? The girls have them and everything, but I don't have that luxury. So, I'm afraid that, with every eyebrow hair that falls out, I'm just gonna have these bald patches. Seriously, that is such a real thing. Alopecia brows.
I could see that, because I remember there was a time when you woke up, right? And it was just like a moment, and you said, babe, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to be completely honest with me. And I'm thinking, okay, where is this going? Okay, here we go. This is, what was going on here? And you looked me deep in my soul and said, are you removing my eyebrows at night one by one with tweezers when I'm not sleeping? Because I'm missing these small, subtle patches. And me being the asshole that I can be, gaslit you to believe in that. Yeah, I'm relieving them one by one in the middle of the night, and you're not feeling a single one getting plucked.
That is abuse. Okay, I swore on everything. I'm a super, super vivid dreamer, and I woke up from who knows whatever dream, and I swore you were right in front of my face, just pulling an eyebrow.
Just scientifically removing eyebrows, follicle by follicle.
Because it doesn't make sense. I wake up, I go to sleep and they're there, and I wake up and I'm what is this bald patch? I am positive I have alopecia brows. For real. It's not even I get so sad.
Oh God, I feel like women around the globe though probably have that, because it's common knowledge that a woman will commit a murder behind her eyebrows. Don't shave a woman's eyebrow. If you touch them, I feel like you're probably gonna die.
I feel like if you ever touch my eyebrows, I'm gonna divorce you. It is grounds for divorce. It's just one of those things.
And then I guess I'll just have to send you a packet of sausages to reciprocate my love for you.
Okay, I'm gonna send you one of those boxes that you open, and you know what? Your mom sent one of those. The boxes and the butterfly. That's why you jump so hard. Okay, you guys, those boxes you can send, and maybe there's a card or a saying or some candy, whatever inside of it, but you unfold it and butterflies fly out, and it kind of explodes at you. So Kyle's mom sent one, and he jumped so aggressively hard, but now it makes sense.
It does.
Because what if they were moths?
I thought for a second she hated me, because I thought why would she put moths in a box, and I don't fuck with these things. That's a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
That's Al-Qaeda level activities right there. So yeah. But back to your alopecia eyebrows, that's, I can see that, because women, there's some things you just don't fuck with a woman. And I think eyebrows are one of those. And, I've always had this thought of, what if I just shaved one of them eyebrows clean off your face? And you warned me and threatened me. I saw your face change. You damn near changed into a werewolf when I said that.
I'm gonna divorce you. That is
well, you
not.
heard it here first. If we ever
get
divorce,
divorced, it's because he shaved my eyebrow.
It's an eyebrow
Don't
missing.
touch my eyebrows. Boundaries.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to figure out what ghost is slowly plucking your eyebrows out, or is this just eyebrow alopecia? Is that a
I
thing?
have eyebrow alopecia. I don't know if that's a real thing. If you can only have that in your eyebrows, but now nobody look at my eyebrows every time you see me.
I look at you different now. I feel like you're a survivor of an
Alopecia brows.
epic thing that is haunting millions of women around the globe. Eyebrow alopecia.
There's no way I'm the only woman who thinks about her eyebrows like that. There's clearly we all know that I am not alone in this. I am not alone in this.
Yeah,
Ladies, can we be nicer about each other's eyebrows?
And
some of us don't have what you have.
This is the duality of the situation. I'm talking about moths, and you're talking about eyebrows. My shit is asinine. Your shit's pretty asinine too. So that's a pretty dumb, weird fear that we both have. And we're from sausages, babe. It could get deadly around there.
Get off the sausages.
Well, you put me on the sausages, so
Okay, anyways. Well, you guys, that's the end of this episode.
Episode 2 in the books, man. This was a good one. I felt like we made some adjustments. We tried to make things crispier and cleaner, adding some clips and stuff for y'all. But, oh man, I'm happy, man. We've got the bug. We definitely got the bug for this podcasting thing, and we hope that you guys will continue tuning in and showering us with all the love and support. And let's get episode 2. Let's make this one hit, go beyond the roof. Let's make this one the biggest, best episode left. Make sure that you guys click, follow, subscribe, and jam this episode.
Yes, and okay, we're going to have a poll up when it comes to the Coastal Conversations song. We got so much feedback about everything, and one of the things we noticed that was kind of split on is the song in the intro. So on episode 1, we played the entire song because it was the very first episode, and you can hear the whole thing. Now we're kind of in limbo, wondering, are we going to keep playing the whole song at the beginning or split it up, front and back, and etc.? What do you think?
Well, I think for the first season, and by the way, our season is going to consist of 10 episodes for the first season. So you guys got 8 more of these. But I think our idea was we're going to be pounding this song into your head, right? We're trying to hypnotize you with this song for the first season. So you guys can you're thinking about us all the time, right? So we're going to try to do that. But we also know that we probably need to cut the intro short. But the main idea of why we're playing the whole first song is just to get your vibe ready, just to get you going, just to get you in the mood to get that coastal vibe.
Yeah. All right, so be sure to respond on the poll. What would you like to hear?
Absolutely.
Yes, well, until next time, this has been fun.
Yes, sir.
I'm Carmela.
And you've been rocking with Coastal Conversations. Episode 2 in the books. Episode 3 coming soon.
Yeah.